Design thinking has traditionally been used to create product prototypes, but the methodology is so effective that you can use it also to pick the brains of your team members to make the most of their experience and knowledge to solve business issues. So you can create action plans to achieve your most important business objectives. It can be to create marketing campaigns or to create new and more effective operational protocols. Design thinking is a very easy to implement process. So give me a couple of minutes so I can present you the steps you can use to implement a design thinking process and make the most of that experience and knowledge you already have in your team. The first step, of course, is to define the problem. And you should start defining it yourself if you are the problem owner. If you are facilitating, helping others to solve an issue or to achieve an objective, allow the other to define the problem from their point of view. The second step is to place yourself into the shoes of the user, that person that will be using that product that you want to design, using the solution you are going to design, or implementing the action plan to achieve the objective. Place yourself in those shoes and now define the problem again, taking into account all the issues in the context of that end user. Now that you have done it in two different levels, in two different dimensions, reframe the problem and use your team working on the design thinking session to enrich the problem and to come into a description that is clear and simple. Now that the problem is well defined and described, taking into account the end user, it is time to brainstorm with your team for the possible solutions. And here, use the brainstorming rules. I'm gonna include a link here so you can see which are they. So there is no judgment, so you think outside the box. And crazy ideas are also reflected in this brainstorming session. So implement the brainstorming so you get possible solutions to that problem. Then it's time to pick the functionalities that will allow you to achieve a first minimal functional prototype of the solution to that problem. What does it mean? If you are doing a product prototype, this is something more straightforward. You basically pick from all the function and possibilities that you brainstorm, pick the ones that will allow you, for real, your team, to create a minimal functional prototype. A prototype that provides some real value to the end user, that provides a real solution to that problem. Even if it's a partial solution, but a real solution to that problem. So you will pick the functionalities, so you define your minimal functional prototype. For example, if you are designing an action plan for a marketing campaign, it means that you will actually pick the possible actions for that marketing campaign that allows you to achieve the most important objectives with the limitations you have, for example, about budget or time or different resources. For example, you could be doing a national or international movies and TV advertising, but maybe you don't have the budget for that. And your budget could allow you to do different things. In that brainstorming, you will see the different options, and now is the time for you, for your team, to pick what you actually want to achieve. If we continue with the example of the marketing campaign, then to achieve that minimal functional marketing campaign that will allow you to move forward to achieve that objective. Then after you actually define your minimal functional prototype of whatever business objective or pressing issues you want to solve, it's time for you to go ahead and test it. And to test it, you have to implement it for real. So now you can start an agile cycle where you start implementing that action plan that you created or creating that functional prototype of that product. So you expose it to the users and you get the feedback to go into a second cycle to optimize it, enhance it, get it better, and get better results for your business. So let's summarize the design thinking steps, and I like to call them the agile design thinking steps or process, because in the business context, there is always an opportunity to enhance the results via the optimization of the previous implementations. All the feedback that you get from there allows you to implement another cycle that will enable you to make a better plan, to create a better prototype, to enhance the process, that marketing campaign, that definition of the strategy that connects better with your user, etc. Okay, let's just go ahead, or I will continue talking about it because it's a topic that I really like. So the first step is to define the problem as you understand. So you bring in your perception of the problem, but then you empathize with the personal point of view of the users. And if you can include users into the design thinking process, much better. To then reframe it with those two dimensions. So you get a definition that includes your business context, your ideas, but also the reality of the end user, the one that is suffering the pain point. Then you go into the most fun phase, which is the brainstorm, to use the creativity of your teams. And you will see here that people have completely different ideas, and that becomes a process that is very fun and interesting. To think outside of the box, to ponder without judgment about the possibilities, even if they seem to be crazy, because they will reflect functionalities and possibilities, can be real winners in that prototype that you will create, in that final product, in that final plan of implementation. After the brainstorming, it's time to do the prototype. For example, if you're doing a mobile application prototype, you can do it with a paper prototype. You basically draw the prototype. If you're doing a plan, you just sketch it out. Sketch it out to see how it looks, what will happen, but sketch out also the results you are expecting in that prototype. And then you implement, you test, and you document whatever happens so you can fit the next cycle. And then you convert this design thinking process in an optimization tool, an agile tool for your business, so you can achieve those ambitious objectives you have. And if you want support for the facilitation of design thinking sessions, you can contact me. I'm going to leave under this video some options so you can train your team and yourself to implement design thinking sessions.